Greetings to all the dear listeners. My name is Miss Leslie Sunny, Department of Commerce from the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. And today we are going to study a very interesting topic from macroeconomics from unit number 2, that is concepts of national income. Before starting the session, let us see what are the learning objectives. After this session, you will be able to understand about the definition of national income, what is the difference between domestic income and national income, and at last, we will also discuss about the various concepts of national income. If I say in a layman's term, what is national income? It refers to the income of country and the income which is generated from abroad. Let us now see what is the definition of national income. It refers to the final value of all the goods and services which is produced by the residents of country in India and abroad for a particular financial year. Now let us see what are the important points which we need to understand from this definition. The first thing is final value of goods and services. It means the amount which is finally charged from consumer is known as final value of goods and services. Or we can say it is the amount above which no more tax can be charged. It is the final value of goods and services. Second is who are the residents of the country. Residents generally refer to the people who live in a particular country and their economic interest also belongs to this country. If I say, are you a resident of India? Yes, we all are the residents of India because it is something which we have received by birth. Also, we have to remember that we can get residentship by two ways. Either it can be by birth or it can be by law. So, till now we understood that national income refers to the total value of goods and services which is produced by the residents of country. Second thing is they can operate both within national boundary and abroad, which means a person who is working from abroad and is an Indian, his income will also be considered in national income until and unless he changes his citizenship to other country. And the next important thing to consider is national income is calculated for 1 year. Now let us see what are the features of national income. The first feature of national income is only monetary transactions are taken into consideration. As we have already discussed that in national income, we only consider the final value of goods and services and hence only monetary or economic transactions are taken into consideration. Non-economic activities or non-monetary transactions are not at all calculated in national income. The second feature of national income is it includes the final value of goods and services. As we said, the maximum or the last amount which we can charge from customer is final value. This point also brings an introduction to intermediate goods, which means we only include the final value of goods. Intermediate goods are not taken into transactions. Third is it is calculated for one particular financial year. Now let us understand what is the difference between domestic income and national income. We need to understand these concepts of domestic and national income so that we can easily understand what are the various important concepts of national income. Now we have already discussed what is national income. Now let us compare both domestic income and national income. In the left side of the screen, you can see map of India. First, we will discuss what is domestic income. It refers to the income which is created within domestic territory. Now let us see what is the domestic territory. In simple terms, it means that the political boundaries that India has will be considered in domestic income. So in the left side of the screen in the map, the area which is covered by India will add to the domestic income of India. Second thing which we need to consider is, in this map or in India, there can be two types of people. One can be resident and one can be non-resident. Who can be said as non-resident? A person who is not resident in simple terms, or any foreigner can be termed as non-resident. So in the calculation of domestic income, we consider both the parties, that is resident and the non-resident. Now the third concept which we have to see is, it will not include NFIA, that is net factor income from abroad. The reason why in domestic income we cannot consider NFIA is because NFIA means net factor income from abroad, and as I said that in domestic income we will only cover the domestic territory income. So NFIA will not be considered in the calculation of domestic income. Now let us move on to national income. Some seconds back we discussed that national income includes residents only. So if I say from the above diagram, the residents' income will only be calculated. So these people's income will only be calculated in national income. Second thing, we also said that national income consists of domestic income plus NFIA, that is net factor income from abroad. So we see here there are residents who are working outside India. So if I say, will their income be added in domestic income? The answer is no. But these people's income will be surely added in national income. The reason being, national income consists of domestic income plus NFIA, or income which is earned from abroad. To understand it in a simple basis, we can say that there can be people who are Indians and they are working outside. So for calculation of domestic income, will we add their income? No. But for the calculation of national income, we will consider the people who are working even beyond the geographical or territorial boundary of India. I hope these two concepts are clear to you. Now, if I raise a question like, A is a resident of India and he has a hotel in Mumbai and he also has a hotel in Dubai. If I say which income will be added in domestic income, we will consider that the hotel of Mumbai, or the income which is added from Mumbai, will be considered in domestic income. And if I ask another question, that in national income, which income will be added, of Dubai or of Mumbai? We will consider both, of Mumbai also and of Dubai also. Why? Because in national income we consider the income of resident, and the person who has hotel in Dubai and the person who has hotel in Mumbai is the same person or resident of India. I hope these concepts are clear to you. Now for understanding bigger concepts like GDP at MP or NDP at FC, we need to require to understand some basic conversions which are very essential. Now let us see the conversions which we had already discussed. Just now we learned the difference between domestic income and national income. If I raise a question, what is not included in domestic income? Your answer will be NFIA. Now if I raise a question, from domestic income you need to reach at national income, what will you do? The simple answer is we are going to add NFIA, that is net factor income from abroad. If I reverse the question, if from national you need to reach to domestic, we will reduce or subtract NFIA. The reason being, in domestic income there is no concept of NFIA. I hope that both these conversions are clear to you. Now let us move to gross. Gross, according to the concept of national income, means addition of depreciation, or we can say consumption of fixed capital. So gross is inclusive of depreciation. If I say from gross I need to reach till net, what I will do? I will reduce depreciation. Why? Because gross is inclusive of depreciation. If I reverse the question, from net I need to reach to gross. Net, we all know that in net depreciation is not there. So I will add depreciation so that I reach till gross. So both these four concepts are clear to us. Now comes a newer concept, that is factor cost and market price. Factor cost is the amount which is received by producer, Now let us see what does it mean by factor cost with the help of an example. If I say that for a production of shirt, after adding profit by producer, the total amount is 500, and after adding some of the indirect taxes like GST, the total amount is 550. If I ask you a question, 550 is factor cost or market price? The answer is simple, that 550 is market price. Why? This is the maximum amount which is inclusive of all the taxes. If I ask you a question, what is factor cost? Factor cost will be 500 rupees. Why? Because this is the amount which is actually received by producer. So if I say from factor cost I need to reach at market price, I will add NIT. NIT is known as net indirect tax, and NIT is equal to IT, that is indirect tax, minus all the subsidies that are granted by government. I hope these conversions are clear. Let us revise once again. If I say from factor cost I need to reach at market price, we will add NIT, that is net indirect tax. From market price we want to reach at factor cost, we are going to reduce NIT. If I say from domestic we need to reach at national, then we will add NFIA. If I say reverse, we will reduce NFIA. From gross we need to reach at net, we will reduce depreciation, and from net if we want to reach at gross, we will add depreciation. I hope these concepts are clear to you. Now we will understand the concepts of national income. We know there are mainly 8 concepts of national income, and a clear differentiation between domestic income and national income is necessary to understand all the concepts. Plus the basic conversions that we have discussed are also required to be clear if we want to understand these concepts. Now let us understand the first concept of national income, that is GDP at MP, or gross domestic product at market price. A very simple way to understand this concept is we write the concept here. we see it is written GDP at MP. MP means market price or final value of all the goods and services. Second, we come to domestic. Domestic, we studied that it is within the domestic territory, first point, and second point we discussed that it includes residents as well as non-residents. Third concept, about gross, we discussed that gross includes depreciation. So, if we have understood these concepts, framing definition becomes very easy. If I ask what is GDP at MP, we can say gross domestic product at market price refers to the final value of all the goods and services which is produced within domestic territory, including residents and non-residents, and it is inclusive of depreciation. I hope the first concept is clear. Second concept is NDP at MP or net domestic product at market price. So, if we differentiate, the only difference between first and second is net, which means it does not include depreciation. So, if we wish to define what is net domestic product at market price, it refers to the final value of all the goods and services which is produced within domestic territory by residents and non-residents, excluding depreciation. I hope this concept is clear. Now, if I say from NDP MP, I want to reach at GDP at MP. We see from net we need to reach at gross. So, we will add depreciation. And if we reverse the concept, this formula will be applicable. Next concept of national income is gross national product at market price. Gross national product at market price, we see a word which is new is national. National means first it will include only the residents of the country. Also it can include NFIA. The third concept is gross, which means depreciation is there. So, gross national product at market price refers to the final value of all the goods and services which is produced by the residents of the country, including depreciation. The fourth concept is NNP at MP or net national product at market price. The only difference as compared to last is that here in net depreciation will not be there. So, net national product at market price refers to the final value of all the goods and services which is produced by the residents of the country, excluding depreciation. The next concept is related to factor cost. The last concepts which we had discussed was related to market price. Now we will discuss the concepts which are related to factor cost. If I explain you again what is factor cost, first it is the amount which is received by producer. Second, it is the aggregate earning which is earned by all the factors of production. If I ask you what are factors of production, so we know that there are 4 factors of production, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship. And against all these factors of production, we get factor incomes, that is from land we get rent, from labor we get wages, from capital we receive interest, and from entrepreneurship we receive profit. So, factor cost is the combination or aggregates of all the factors of production. I hope this is clear because this will help in defining the next concepts of national income. Now let us see what is the concept, that is GDP at FC, which is gross domestic product at factor cost. We discussed that factor cost means aggregate earning by all the factors of production. Domestic will include domestic territory, residents and non-residents, and gross will include depreciation. So, if we try to define what is gross domestic product at market price, it refers to the aggregate earning by all the factors of production which is produced within domestic territory by residents and non-residents, including depreciation. We can also see here GDP at FC is NVA, that is net value added plus depreciation. The next concept is gross national product at factor cost. Here only one word is different, that is national, and national includes only the residents of country. So, gross national product at factor cost refers to the aggregate earning by all the factors of production where major help is by the residents of country and it includes depreciation. Now, if we say what is net domestic product at factor cost, here we can say that net domestic product at factor cost is the aggregate earning by all the factors of production which is produced within domestic territory by residents and non-resident excluding depreciation. If we say that from GDP at FC, I wish to reach at NDP at FC. So, I want to reach from gross to net. So, I will reduce depreciation. I hope this concept is clear. Next concept is net national product at factor cost. Net national product at factor cost is known as national income, and it is also same, that is final value of all the goods and services which is produced by residents of country excluding depreciation. So, if I say from NNPFC, from NDPFC, I wish to reach at NNPFC, from domestic to national I want to reach, so we will add NFIA, that is net factor income from abroad. So, with this we are done with all the concepts of national income. I hope these concepts were clear to you all. Thank you all for your patience listening.